Hey everyone, Brian here with Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So a couple of weeks back, I did a review on the new Riff Single Barrel Bourbon. And if you haven't seen that review, check out my YouTube site and look up the review I did on the Single Barrel Bourbon. This is tremendous. I got it off of Sealbox, which is an online spirits retailer, for 55 bucks. And I absolutely love it. It brings a lot of unusual flavors. It's not just your typical bourbon with caramels and brown sugars. There's a lot of interesting notes going on in that single barrel bourbon, and I just absolutely love it. At the same time, I bought the single barrel bourbon. I bought this Balboa Rye off of Sealbox also, and this is 65 bucks. So 55 bucks, 65 bucks. So what's the deal with new Riff Balboa Rye? Well, first of all, it's a 95.5 rye. So 95% Balboa Rye and then 5% malted barley. There is zero corn in this Balboa Rye. Balboa Rye is an heirloom grain. Apparently it was widely in use in the 20s and 30s and then really just kind of fell by the wayside and hasn't really been used in distilling spirits. But New Riff has kind of brought the Balboa Rye back. They contract with a family farm in Indiana to get all of their Balboa grain, which is really cool. I like the fact that they're connected to a family farm out in Indiana, the Hogg family farm. So this is 95% Balboa Rye and 5% malted barley. As I said, this is bottled in bond, by the way, so it's 100 proof. It's aged at least 4 years. So let's get into it. See what we got here. The nose is really soft and very nice. There's a sugary sweetness to it. There's a little bit of a touch of mint, which is, you know, kind of characteristic of a lot of ryes, but there's definitely a touch of mint there. There's some spice, but it's not like a hot cinnamon. You know, a lot of times we drink ryes and bourbons and there's a real hot cinnamon, almost like a red hot or something like that. And the spice on this is nothing like that. It's really soft, almost like a nutmeg. There's a sweetness to the spice as well. A little bit of oak. Just a really, really nice, inviting nose. A little bit of caramel, but a lot of that kind of typical rye. You can definitely tell you're nosing a rye when that mint, a little bit of that mint comes through. Let's get into the taste. Yeah. So the front of the palate is got that beautiful sweetness. It's a light sweetness. It's not dark brown sugars or molasses. It's more of a sugary sweetness. Very nice spice. I'm getting a little Kentucky hug right now, even though it's only 100 proof. It's not drinking hot, but it's also not drinking really, really ultra smooth. There is a heat to it, but it's super pleasing. The spice, like I said, is a warm spice, not like a hot cinnamon. More like a warm, sweet nutmeg. Definitely get the rye spice coming through. A little bit of that rye character, a little mintiness, a little oakiness. This is great, you know. It's not a rye that's bursting with complexity, and it's also not a rye that's bursting with caramel and brown sugar and, you know, those more bourbony notes. When I drink this, I'm like, this is a rye. But it is a really, really beautiful expression, again, from New Riff. Listen, I think you cannot go wrong with either one of these bottles. So my recommendation, if you're having trouble finding New Riff out in your local market, because their distribution can be a little wonky, either go out to Sealbox and look New Riff up on Sealbox's website, because they always carry different expressions of New Riff, etc. And that's what I would recommend. Both of these are absolute buys at 55 bucks, a single barrel bourbon. at 114 proof, so basically cask strength. That is a tremendous value. The ryes, obviously a little bit more expensive. Ryes always tend to be a little bit more expensive because the grain is more expensive. So the rye is a little bit more expensive at 65 bucks, but this is an absolute banger of a rye. Can't possibly recommend either one of these high enough. So cheers to everyone out there. Thanks for everybody who has subscribed to the channel. I'm only one subscriber away from 100, so that's a really, really cool thing. Leave me a comment if you've had New Riff, either the single barrel bourbon or the rye. I'd love to hear what you think of it, or any other comments that you have about guitars, whiskey, and golf. I love the engagement. Take care, everyone. Hope you have a great evening.